Brian Young, Kama Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you're doing well. You're trying to train yourself and learn on a linear concept. You learn in order, right? You have a curriculum that you're going off of. Maybe it's at your studio. You're trying to focus on those concepts that will give you the most success. Or you're even trying to do the equalizer as well, right? So I'm assuming you've gone through our videos, right? Want to get better, faster at Jiu-Jitsu, the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, and learning linearly, right? So, and also I think I might have done a follow-up to learning on how to order things, but I think I did that one on Patreon. So if you want to see that one, become a member of Patreon. If you're in a school that doesn't teach linearly, that teaches circularly, or just teaches random, which is probably the more common environment you'd be in, how do you make it so you can focus on your technique? Because your instructor is going to be teaching you all kinds of stuff. And here's the thing. That's what we call I've heard it called the funnel theory, where you just throw what's in the funnel and what comes out of the bottom, that's what you're going to keep. I've also heard it, throw shit up on the wall concept, and whatever sticks is what you're going to do. Well, I don't agree with that whole throwing stuff up on the wall method of learning, because what if what falls off is the most valuable thing, and what if what sticks in the wall is the least valuable thing? It doesn't work that way, right? You want to make sure that you always go after the most valuable concepts, the most fundamental concepts that you need to do. And that has to be conscious. You cannot do it unconsciously. So if you have a curriculum, or hopefully your instructor has a curriculum and he's faithful to it. Most instructors are not. They may have one, but they're not really faithful to it, unfortunately. Find out what the most important general concepts are. You don't want to learn specialized concepts yet. You want to stick with the general concepts. So general concepts could be guard passing, mount escape, seatbelt escape, cross-side escape, side mount escape, playing guard, playing the mount, playing the worst position, knee in the belly, right? These are all basic concepts. Now, when you start doing stuff like koala guard and berimbolo and belly hiva guard, spider guard, inverting, you start looking at special arm locks, triangles. Those are not basic concepts. Those are more niche / specialty concepts that you do, and you're gonna have to learn them, but they're not the foundation of jiu-jitsu. For those of you who are gym rats and you go to the gym, right? Think of it this way. The basic movements in weightlifting are your squat, your deadlift, your bench press, your chin-ups, and really that's it, right? Anything else, like your bicep curls, that's more of an isolation exercise, right? Whereas your chin-ups, you work your biceps, your forearms, your lats, right? When you do your squats, you're working your trunk plus your legs. When you do deadlifts, you're working your hamstrings, sometimes your quads, your glutes, your forearms, and your back, right? So one movement works a lot of things. So now the equivalent of something like that in jiu-jitsu would be the guard pass, playing guard, escaping the mount, right? You want to concentrate on those. Don't concentrate on the equivalent of isolation exercises, right? Something that's so specialized, right? Here's the thing. Let's say you're in class, and I'll tell you how to do this. Let's say you're in class and you're working on passing guard. You need to have, in every position, you need to be working on one thing. Because let's say you want to really work on passing people's guard, but every time you're sparring in class, nobody's pulling guard on you. Nobody's wanting to play guard. They're all wanting to take you down and make you play from your back. The way I kind of looked at it is, me being a small guy, people would kind of be able to dictate to me what position we'd play. It wasn't necessarily, when I was in my lower ranked years, it wasn't as if I could dictate where we were going to play. So what I would need to do is I'd say, okay, right, if I go up against a big guy, he's always going to smash me, put me on my back. So I'm going to work on my cross-side escapes. Or if he mounts me, I'm going to work on my mount escapes, right? Two basic concepts. Or he may knee in the belly, I'm going to work on that. But I'm not necessarily going to be really thinking about details, just really the main motions on getting out, the big overall scheme of things, concepts. And when I'm on top, let's say I'm mounted, I may focus only on chokes, but I'm mounted. But I got to make sure I know how to hold the mount, and then put that hand in, hold the mount, and then set the choke, right? Or I may be working on arm bars from the mount. By thinking in those terms, and especially when you think of the ladder concept, right? You got to think of once you get better and you with your partner, because you have different partners. Some are really high level, some are mid level, and some are lower level. Lower level, you work your offense. Your high level, you're going to work your defense because they're better than you. And the ones that are about your level, you're just going to battle it out and you're going to take what you can get, right? So let's say I'm in class and my instructor is teaching a triangle. But for me, I'm just learning how to hold the guard and how to keep somebody in the guard and keep them from passing. I'm not going to worry about the triangle. I'm going to worry about the lower level, the more basic concept, which is holding guard. You know, keeping my guard closed, making sure my grips are right, setting up the choke, the arm bar, the sweep, and I'm going to not worry about triangle. Once I get to a level of comfort in the choke, the arm bar, the sweep, and maintaining the guard, then I'll look at the triangle. You know, let's say in class he's teaching a wrist lock, right? Wrist locks are cool, right? And they're very useful, but they're not too close to the body. They're at the very end, they're at the extremities, right? So I'm only working on the main thing, controlling my opponent's body, because the most important thing is being able to control their hips. Whoever controls 2 sets of hips, meaning their own and their opponents, they're usually winning, right? If you're not in control of your own hips, that means your opponent is controlling your hips, which means that you're not in control of the game, you're losing it. So the basic concept would be, how do I gain control of my own hips as the first step, and then how to control his hips. But if my instructor's not teaching me that, I still need to focus on it. So you can talk to your instructor about it, but chances are it's not what his overall scheme is. You know, he's trying to teach everybody in the school, whereas you yourself, you're working on one thing. So to ask him to have you work on just that may distract him too much from his teaching on the one end. At the same time, it may irritate him, because now, you know, you're in a group class and you're asking for special treatment. You know, if you only want to work on that, book a private with him. So you're going to have to take it upon yourself. So there'd be times when I'd go into class and I'm just working on a couple things. So I might be working on, I remember when I was a brown belt, I was doing this. I was working on per person. So I might work on one particular purple belt and I just hold him in guard. And if I feel that he's not passing my guard, I'll loosen my guard up and I'll let him pass my guard. And once he passes my guard, I think, okay, so let me work on my cross-side escape. So I'd let him get cross-side on me and I'd get out. And if I can get out with no problem, then what I do is I'd maybe leave my arm available, let him hook my arm up, right? And as soon as he hooks my arm up, I'll escape. Okay, well, I can escape that. So now the next time, you know, I'll let him pass my guard, get cross-side, and let him hook my arm up. And this time, instead of escaping right away, I'd wait a little while, let him take the arm out, and then I try to escape, right? And it'll get to the point where I haven't fully extended, I'm trying to get out, but chances are I'm gonna tap. He's a purple belt, should be able to tap me. But that's how I would practice. And it was despite whatever was being taught in class. So if, let's say Professor Fernando, he was teaching chokes, and I'm working on escaping from, you know, side mount or cross side, and I just let everybody pass my guard, get to that position, because I know they're gonna take it, and I'd escape. Now, they may be working on mount, but I'm not gonna let them have mount. I'm gonna make them try to get me from side mount or cross side, and I'd be able to get out. And then once it got to a point where I knew I was totally safe with that particular individual, I'd let them get the mount, and then I'd escape the mount. If I know I can escape, I'd let them escape. I'd let them beat mount, hold mount, put their hand in, set up the collar, and I get out. And it would get to a point where I just let them get progressively worse on me, better for them, and I'd try to work out of those positions. But I'm doing this all on my own. You know, in another video, I'm talking about how to get to the highest levels of jiu-jitsu, you need to be obsessed with it. So in this case, I'm obsessed. I'm thinking about it in my spare time when I'm not training. You know, what can I work on to get better? And I would just choose one thing per position. And being that we had a small school, I could pretty much tailor it to my training partners. So when I'm training with this particular person, I'm gonna let him have this, because I know he's really good at it. And I want him to get his best thing on me, and I want to be able to get out. So if he's really good at holding mount, I'm going to let him mount me, and I'm going to try to work myself out. And I'll handicap myself. Maybe I'll do it left-handed. Or there was, there's a black belt that came in who had a wicked kesa, right? Kesa's a head and arm, you know, when he's pinning you, judo pin. I would let him do that to me every time, right? Why? Because I wanted to conquer it. And if he's got the best one, then in the studio, he's the one that I want to do that to me. Because if I can escape his, I can escape everybody's in the studio, and he's good, and so that means chances are I can escape a lot of people's kesa. That's kind of a way to approach it despite your instructor. I'm not saying necessarily you're gonna do stuff differently from your instructor, so if your instructor shows you a way to get out of kesa, and you're only gonna work on kesa escape, like he showed you this way to do it, say 3 months ago, That's what you're gonna work on. You're gonna work on his way to escape KAATARO from everybody you go with. Once you get it down to where you can escape out everybody's one, then you're gonna switch and say, okay, how does he say to escape mount? Okay, I'm gonna use his mount escape, and I'm gonna get out of everybody else's mount using that. Despite what he's teaching, I'm still working on this. And if you can maintain that discipline, you will start checking off the boxes one by one by one. And you will then, remember that whole equalizer concept, right? You're good here, but all your other concepts are down here. So you don't need to focus here, you need to focus over here. Choose one. So I chose this one, and I'd work on it until I have it up, right? And then once I have these two up, I'm now gonna abandon it temporarily, and I'm gonna work on these that are still lacking. But it takes focus on your end to do that. What most people do is they end up being good over here, and when they get into a bad position here with an opponent, they'll start changing the fight to over here where they're good. That's the worst thing you can do, right? You want to bring everything up. You don't want to just focus on what you're good at. You want to focus on what you're bad at. And once you get what you're bad at now becomes good, then you have to find something new to focus on. But always look to focus on what you need to focus on. You need to take it upon yourself to do it. If you're not going to be in a private session or a series of privates where your instructor is going to tell you what you're going to need to work on, and he's going to work on it with you in a planned and orderly fashion, meaning you're only doing group classes, you need to take it upon yourself. I hope that will help you in it, and I hope it clarified with you how to take the video lessons that we've given you and take it to the next level to help your game, because I want you to be better as well. And I want this art to spread. And I want the self-defense minded version of Jiu-Jitsu to spread as well, because that's what we do. And that's what we feel needs to be addressed in Jiu-Jitsu. Go through the videos that we have here on YouTube. And if you're members of Patreon, go through those videos, because those videos are more important on the technical side, because you see how we do things. Just devour the knowledge that we have here. And like I tell my students, stay away from other YouTube channels. Well, I hate to put it that way, but as far as technical stuff, I tell my students stay away from other channels, because I want them doing things the way we do it. Now, obviously, you're not my student. Now, some of you may think of yourselves as my student, which is cool. But if you're thinking as, no, I'm a student of this so-and-so professor and I want to do things his way, then obviously, don't do things necessarily the way I do, but take the mindset things and use those to your advantage. Thank you for liking and subscribing to the videos. We really appreciate it. And thank you for hitting up our links and helping to support the channel, because the more support the channel has, the more videos we can do, and the more concepts I can give out to you. So anyway, I want to thank you for your time. Take care. Happy training. Bye-bye now.